Hello and welcome back to my mom's basement, ladies and gentlemen. I am here with Uncle Dana White, ahead of UFC 272 this weekend. We've got Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. This is one of the most animosity-filled grudge matches that the UFC has had in quite a while. Is the BMF title going to be up for grabs in this one?
It's not. We probably should have done that, but it's not. And you're right. This is the number one. I don't know if there's ever been a bigger grudge match than this. When you look at how deep it is with these two, these are guys that were actually really friends, actually really lived together, cornered each other, trained together. I don't know if there's ever been a scenario like this before. Scott and John Jones, who they were friends, but not like they were really friends. They trained together and you know shit like that. But this is the real deal.
Would you compare this to like the Jones DC and the Khabib McGregor in terms of the actual animosity? I know the scenarios are very different, but like in terms of the bad blood.
Yeah, yeah. The hatred between Jones and Cormier was. I mean, you remember when Cormier said, I'd like to come over in that other room and spit in your face. And he's like, I'd literally kill you. I'd love to see you try that. I'll kill you. Go to prison, kill you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. What was the first rivalry like that you remember seeing where it was like, oh my God, these guys are going to kill each other if we don't have security separating them?
In my era, it would have to be Chuck and Tito wasn't really. Chuck wanted to fight Tito. Tito didn't want to fight Chuck. God, off the top of my head, I'm trying to think of the biggest rivalry early on during my era when we first bought the UFC. I don't know off the top of my head. The one that stands out the most is like Jones and Rashad and Chuck and Tito. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. The Battle of the Rafaels is off. How close was Islam Makhachev to making the 1 week turnaround? Was that fight almost made?
Pretty close. I thought we had it done. When I went to
Really?
bed, one of the nights there, I thought it was done. Woke up the next morning and found out they turned it down.
Who turned it down?
Islam.
That's shocking. Was it a weight thing? Was it he didn't want to get down to a certain weight?
No clue.
How does something like that work when someone pulls out of a fight and then you have a bunch of names stepping up? Does it come down to what RDA wants? Does it come down to what you and the matchmakers want? Is it a combination of both?
Oh, it's what's the best fight that you could possibly make. So the best fight that we could possibly make would have been him and Islam, right? RDA Islam. Islam turns down the fight. What's the best fight you can make? Moicano.
What do you think of Paul Felder saying he would come out of retirement for that?
Interesting. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, Islam's got to be one of the most confident fighters out there overall, right? I mean, he laughed off Bobby Green's chances last week. He said that he would beat Jordan Burroughs in a straight wrestling match as long as they had mats around the ring. He's like, no, as long as there's a wall, I could beat him. When people call him the next Khabib, do you believe that?
Well, he's obviously doing very well. But yeah, I mean, if you start looking at who's around, I love the Dariush fight.
Yeah.
So since he turned down this fight, we're gonna remake the Dariush fight. We'll get that fight going. Dying to see that fight. And then yeah, he gets through Dariush. Very interesting.
Yeah, then we're talking maybe a title shot for him. I mean, he's running
100%.
through all of his opponents. It's crazy to see.
100%.
Does the prospect of Islam Makhachev versus Conor McGregor down the line appeal to you? Are you like, I know that you wanted to see Khabib McGregor 2 before McGregor Poirier 2, and that could have been a possibility when you're trying to get Khabib to come back. But with the animosity there, is that something where you're like, this could be something special?
Yeah, I mean, listen, tell me a Conor McGregor fight that isn't. I mean, you start matching McGregor up with Oliveira, Gaethje, Poirier, Islam. I mean, they're all fun fights.
Did you see people giving you some shit for saying that Conor may get a title shot on his first fight back? People were very upset about that statement. I obviously wasn't. As McGregor superfan, I'm like, yeah, give him the fucking title shot. But what do you say to people that are upset about that?
Well, what I said is, you don't know. The problem is, every time I do a fucking interview, all anybody wants to ask is, you think Conor McGregor will get a fucking title shot? Well, that's all they fucking ask. So I'm going to say, well, Conor McGregor isn't anywhere near coming back yet. I don't know. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a dumb fucking question for the media to ask, but the media asks dumb fucking shit all day, every day. So that's what happens.
Moving
and
on.
anybody who's pissed off because Conor might fucking you're a fucking idiot too. If that pisses you off, Jesus Christ, yeah. Calm down, buddy.
Speaking of someone who pisses a lot of people off frequently, Joe Rogan, he wasn't on the call last pay-per-view. Will he be on the call this weekend?
He wasn't on the call when?
The last Stylebender fight, the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He's back on the call this weekend? Cool.
He's on this week. Cormier's off.
Oh, there you go. A little mix and match there. Yeah, UFC London coming later this month. I will be there in support of Patty. I can't wait. I thought Patty was going to blow the roof off of the O2, but it was actually the wind that blew the roof off of the O2. And now that place doesn't have a roof anymore. Are we worried about that becoming like an issue, about that being fixed in time? Are there contingency plans in place?
Well, the part of the roof that blew off doesn't affect us. It was somewhere else on the O2, not the arena.
Oh, good. So there's no issues with that. That's going to go forward in the O2. Cool. And with the Russian fighters on that card, is that resolved yet, or is that still an issue? Do we not know? Is that a day-by-day thing?
Yeah, it's obviously it's going to cause problems, but we'll figure it out.
Do you have Biden's number like you had Trump's number? Can you give Joe a call and be like, "Yo, hook me up"?
Biden's, yeah, no, I have Trump's number. I definitely don't have Biden's number.
Damn, brutal. You got to get that. You could definitely hook up with Joe Biden, get his number. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be remiss not to bring up the current Cain Velasquez situation while I have you here. It's absolutely crazy. Some of the craziest headlines that I've ever seen come out of the MMA world. I'm sure you've been asked about it already, but any thoughts on this outrageous scenario?
I obviously feel sorry for him and his family. It's a horrible thing. I don't know enough details to speak on it, but from what I've heard, we all say we'd do it. If that ever happened to us, Cain did it.
Absolutely. I mean, as more details come out, we'll, update the story on Barstool and all that. But as of right now, it seems like the kind of thing where a lot of people at first said, how could he? And then more details came out and they said, oh, that's how he could. It's kind of understandable in that way. Moving on to some lighter things. This is a listener question. Would you ever consider making the fight of the night / performance of the night bonuses a fan vote? Is that something that ever came up or something that ever appealed to you guys?
I mean, I've asked the fans many times to chime in, tell me who they think, should get the bonuses that night. But it's tough to make it a fan vote.
Do you try to listen to fans on Twitter? If you see like everyone on Twitter is calling something fight of the night, are you like, all right, then I got to give it to that?
Oh, we do. We definitely listen. Eric, who does my social media, comes to me several times a night, letting me know what the fans are saying and what's going on. And we're trending here, trending there. We're on top of the social media thing all night long during a fight. I always talk shit, but we listen to everything. I mean, a lot of these fights that have been made here in this company throughout its history were because of the fans.
Yeah.
There were fights that don't make sense, like a Conor McGregor title fight. If fans wanted bad enough, Conor probably shouldn't have boxed Floyd Mayweather either. You know what I mean? So when people open their yaps and talk, sometimes you do things that don't make sense because everybody wants to see it.
So
for me to sit here and say, no, I would never do a Conor McGregor fight, as the more than likely, Conor McGregor is not going to fight for a title. But to say I would never do it would be stupid too.
Yeah, never say never at this point, right? I mean, there's talk about Tyson Fury wants to box Ngannou, and I know that's kind of a touchy subject, but like he came out today and said it's very possible for the first quarter of 2023. That's something where a couple of years ago, before Mayweather McGregor, I would have said never in a million years. Now I'm like, I don't know, it could happen.
Yeah, it's a really bad idea for Francis.
Yeah, I don't know.
A really bad idea.
Yeah, I guess he's got that one punch power. I mean, maybe if he lands one, right?
Yeah. So did what's his name? Dude, he just fought.
Oh,
yeah, Deontay
Deontay?
Wilder. Yeah. He had that one punch power too.
Yeah. Another listener question here from listener Mario. He says you have to spend 24 hours in a room, let's say the war room right there, with either Darren Ravel or Jake Paul. Who are you picking?
Jake Paul all day long.
Get out of here. Jake
Are
Paul
you
over
gonna sit
Darren
in here with
Ravel?
Darren Ravel's goofy ass for fucking 24 hours? Yeah, I'll take Jake Paul. I don't hate Jake Paul like everybody thinks I hate Jake Paul. You know what I mean? He's a kid trying to make money. He's doing his thing. He's trying to make money.
Do you think if you spent 24 hours in a room with Jake Paul, you guys would leave as kind of not maybe friends, but acquaintances, maybe a little respect for one another?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him personally. I don't know the answer to that question, but the guy's done all right for himself. He's making some money. He's doing his thing. That's the business we're in. We're in the business where, a lot of shit is talked. Like I dislike Bob Arum way more than I would ever dislike Jake Paul. I think that Bob Arum is a scumbag. I don't know Jake Paul well enough.
Yeah, that's fair. You like his brother, right? You like Logan.
I like him a lot. Yeah.
Interesting. Here's a question from me. What the hell were you, Khabib, and Jared Leto talking about the other night? The camera cut to the three of you. I was like, what is that conversation talking about?
Let me tell you what, Jared Leto is the biggest UFC fan. This dude knows all the ins and outs of the sport. He knows, guys that are coming up. All he does is rock climb and watch UFC. All he does. And
Get
make
the fuck
movies,
out of here.
obviously. Yeah. And he's actually a really cool dude. He and I have actually become pretty close.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's not a weirdo?
Not even fucking close. You would expect that. I get it. I totally get it that you would think that. Jared Leto is the furthest thing from a fucking weirdo. He's a normal, cool fucking dude that loves the UFC and loves rock climbing and makes great fucking movies.
It's outrageous. He does make some pretty good movies. Speaking of rock climbing, you into any of these rock climbing documentaries that go like super, get the Oscars all the time? Free Solo and The Alpinist.
So Free Solo is his best friend.
Oh, really?
Is Jared Leto's best friend.
Alex Honnold?
And he moved to Vegas. Leto lives in Vegas now. And he moved here because of that guy. And they rock climb every day.
That is outrageous. I never would have expected that connection to happen. Feels like we're doing Mad Libs at this point.
Yeah. And anybody that sees Jared Leto and thinks, God, that guy's out there, he's the fucking complete opposite. Yeah, it's not the case.
He's built a hell of a brand for himself in that case.
Listen, I get why you would say the complete opposite. Yeah. He is a fucking great dude.
Wow. Unreal. I want to watch fights with him now.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest UFC branded product you've ever seen? There's some weird ones. You guys are almost like the Star Wars brand, where it's like you name a product, there's a UFC logo on it. Have you seen any throughout your years where you're like, what the fuck are we making here?
Yes, that's a great question. I was going through, it was one of something we had one day, and I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? We have UFC. It wasn't dog shit. It was what the fuck was it? I was like, this is embarrassing that we actually have the UFC logo on this. Do you remember?
There's a hot dog. There's a famous hot dog brander where you could just burn a UFC logo into your hot dogs, where it's like, who the fuck would buy that?
Yeah, I could live with that though. If you throw UFC parties and you have the UFC logo burned into your hot dogs, it's pretty cool. I can live with that. Come
on. Who wants a UFC burnt into their hot dog?
Me. I'm into that. I would do that. I would do that, actually. I would have a party and have UFC logos burned into my hot dogs. I got Patriot logo, everything. I can't remember what it was, but it was pretty fucking embarrassing. And I was like, I can't believe that we actually made these. If we did.
Merchandising.
But sometimes what happens is you get out there and you get somebody in the licensing department, and they throw some money at you, and you're like, all right, we'll do the whatever the hell it was. But I can't remember. I'm gonna actually try to look it up, and I'll text you.
I would love that. Yeah. I think I've asked you this before, but when I put the call out for fan questions, we get this pretty often. People want to know, will we ever see the return of Dana White Fight Week vlogs? You used to do them, then it kind of became like embedded more about the fighter stories, I suppose. Would you ever bring that back and show the promoter side of it?
Yeah, it all started with my vlogs, but there's no way I could do that again. It would just be, back then I was flying fucking everywhere. We were, I didn't miss an event anywhere in the world. We're always doing cool new stuff, and vlogging was new, And then once we, what was the name of the show that we did? We did the first one with BJ Penn and George St. Pierre, I think, was the first one, but it was UFC something. Fucking, the show was incredible. Then as streaming and social media became a reality, we started doing, the Embedded It series.
Yep.
Shorter, tighter clips that are more relevant, stuff that happens yesterday and today. And I just don't see a time where I go back to doing vlogs.
It seemed like you enjoyed them though. Like even watching the old ones back, it seemed like you liked doing them.
We used to have a blast. It was a lot of fun. It was the early days of the company. We were doing tons of fun shit. We were breaking new ground, getting into new places, and I did have a blast when I did it. That's the point. I don't like doing anything unless I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
I don't think that would be fun again. I'm not I'm not in the mood for a bunch of cameras to be following me around every day.
I don't know. You're around the Elk Boys all the time. They can give you some pointers on how to have fun. Imagine that, like you just in an Elk Boys vlog once a week, and be, drinking the drinks with them and doing whatever the hell they do. Yeah.
I'm too old for all that shit.
It seems like the Elk Boys relationship is going well, though, right? It's like bringing in a younger audience. Is that right?
Yeah, I really like these kids. I think they're brilliant. And they're hustlers, man. These guys work hard. They're out there promoting Happy Dad right now. They're in Texas, Arizona, Alabama. They're going to Tennessee. I mean, they're traveling all over the country every day, growing this brand. I love guys who have that dog in them and get out there and grind like they do.
Speaking of things that you like to do for fun, this sounds like something that would be fun, but I don't really know what it means. You talked a little bit about a fight in the metaverse. I don't know what the fuck that means. Respectfully, I should. I look like a nerd. I look like I should know the goggles. What is a fight in the metaverse? What does that mean? A real fight? A video game fight? What are we talking about?
Yeah, no, it would be a real fight inside the metaverse, and we've literally been working on that now for a couple months. So it's real. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
Like a fight that you would only be able to watch if you had the virtual reality goggles?
Right.
Interesting. Are you a virtual reality guy? Have you worn these goggles before?
So yeah. I mean, I love that game, Thrill of the Fight. So it's a killer workout too. It's incredible. But yeah, you would be at, you could actually be you in the metaverse calling the fight, from your house or wherever you were, your mom's basement or wherever the hell you are.
It seems pretty cool, actually. Now that you're kind of selling me on this, I can see this.
It'll be different. It'll be very cool when we pull it off.
Have you ever played VR Oculus with Matt Serra? I know he's obsessed with that.
No, I'm not a big video game guy.
I would like to see you guys play that boxing game you're talking about. That'd be funny if you guys could box against each other in the metaverse.
My son turned me on to that game, and I fell in love with it that night. I actually set it up in my gym here at the office.
Oh wow, just knocking people out, fucking celebrating in an empty gym.
Oh, you get in there and you use it as part of your workout.
Gotcha.
You make it as part of your workout routine. You make it your cardio.
I'm gonna have to get one of these things. I mean, it seems up my alley with the nerd stuff, but I don't know if I could wear it with my glasses. That's gonna be an issue.
It's $200. Get it.
I'll get it.
Get it. Do it, and tell me. Seriously, get it. Do it, and tell me what you think. You'll be blown away by it.
All right, I'm gonna have to. I mean, I'm gonna need it for the fight in the metaverse. If that's on the way, I'm gonna need to be at that fight.
There you go. Make Portnoy pay for
it. Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
You need it for work.
Yeah. So many fans wrote in asking when fight nights would be back on the road, and I know you get asked this constantly at press conferences and everything. Are there any plans to move in that direction soon?
Yep.
Cool.
Now that things are starting to open up. No more masks and all that bullshit.
The mandates seem to be going away, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yes, we will.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully by the end of the year. And then a final question on behalf of Caleb Presley, who does Sunday sit downs at Barstool. He really wants a dream guest, and he wants you to put him in touch with Hezbollah. He says he will fly to Russia right now for the interview.
Yeah, I'm working on getting Hasbulla out here. I'm glad you just reminded me of that. I got to get on my people's ass here and find out what's going on about that.
Yeah,
But
get him
yeah,
over here. I saw a video from him the other day. He said he's scared. We don't need that guy scared. Get him over in America.
I'll set it up.
All right, good. Thank you. I appreciate
I'll get him an interview with him.
All right, I appreciate that. That would be absolutely amazing. UFC 272 this weekend. I can't wait for the card. We're going to be doing a live MMA show tomorrow on Thursday. If you're listening to this on release day, we're going to try to do this before all the UFC cards in the future. All the picks that you need. Megan O'Leary's going to be on it. Patty the Baddie's going to be on it. So look out for that. Look out for UFC 272 this weekend. Uncle Dana, thank you for the time as always.
Always a pleasure, brother.